The following program is paid for by the Charlie Butler team. Looking for tips on selling your home? Tune into the Charlie Butler Show right here on WGBF AM every Sunday at 9 a.m. The Charlie Butler Show, where your questions get answers. Charlie guarantees it.
Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. In this first post-Easter show, you are listening to the Charlie Butler radio show. I'm here, as I am every Sunday, with my co-host, David Crow from Churchill Mortgage. Good morning, David.
Good morning, folks. Hope you all are having a wonderful Sunday morning out there.
Again, as we said last Sunday, Candace DeArmond is taking this week off, and she will be back next week, though. You won't have to endure David and I much longer, without some. We're going to be joined in a little while by Yvonne Woodburn from Keller Williams, and someone who we're going to have to give her about 20 minutes because it'll take that long to run through all her ventures that she's involved in. So David, last week we talked about the interest rates. We talked about possibly 3 cuts this year, and I know there haven't been any major changes in 1 week. But what do you think right now?
Well, what I think is, one, you're right, and it's not just with Charlie and I. Obviously, I follow some of the leading gurus and advice givers across the entire nation, and they too, as they come online with me and other lenders and loan officers, they wish they had some earth-shattering news, because on a week after week basis, we're all in this game together, and rates have just simply stabilized.
Right. And
we've all become accustomed in the last year of where rates are, so it's not near the sticker shock it was over a year ago when you're discussing, where interest rates are. It is what it is. We continue to talk week after week. We know the end of 24 is going to bring lower rates. And yes, at this moment, it seems like most of the voting Fed members are seriously considering 3 cuts in 2024 to the federal funds rate. And so we know that's over time going to help put pressure on lower long-term interest rates in the market as we near the end of 2024. So at this moment, as I continue to tell you listeners on here, as well as every client who calls me to get pre-approved to buy a home, folks, if you find the home, you love the home, buy the home. Absolutely. Whatever the rate is, whether it's with me or anyone else, I just always tell people, you're not going to be excited about the rate right now. I don't care who it is, what it is. We still have those visions of 2020 and 21 in our head of 2s and 3s, so no matter.
That's not going to happen. No. We'd all be shocked if that happened.
We know leading over time as we look long into projections through 25 and 26, we sincerely believe we'll be back down in the 4s. So where that leads us today is if you find a home, because there's not enough homes on the market, there are by far more pre-approved, pre-qualified buyers than there are homes. And so if you find the home, buy it. Understand whatever the payment is, it's a temporary payment because you are going to probably want to refinance at the end of 24 and the first part of 25. So don't sit on the sideline. And I love it, as people have said throughout this past year or more, I'm waiting for the market to crash. I'm going to wait for prices to go down. I'm going to wait for rates to go down. I'm going to wait. Well, you've given up a lot of appreciation, equity, and so forth, because I, too, saw the data in the last 10 days. Appreciation from the 6 leading folks across the nation that monitor that. As a nation, we have seen appreciation greater than 6% in 2023 is the final numbers that came out. So no market is crashing. Well, I shouldn't say. I don't want to become or somebody challenge me, but there could be small pockets across the nation where they may saw either prices stabilize or just a small decrease. But what we're really seeing is home values are not dropping. People are just choosing to buy a lower priced home with elevated rates.
Well, I think you probably got maybe like the Florida market. I've talked to some people. Those markets that see huge appreciation. They also, we know when it goes the other way, they see a pretty good drop.
Yep, they can see a significant.
And they're seeing a little bit of a drop right now.
They're seeing longer days on the market and a little bit of drop. And Charlie and I are in this business, and we know in 2021 and 22, some of the big jumps in appreciation, and some markets are they're cooling a little bit, but overall appreciation year over year, we saw in 23 with elevated rates 6% appreciation, over 6% occur nationwide. So that's there's no bubble bursting out there,
and
folks.
we were probably seeing close to that in our market.
Oh, absolutely. I think so as well. Yes.
And which is a lot in our, because most people who invest here who come from other areas like California, Florida, places that see great appreciation, they invest here because of stability.
Yes.
They know we don't go we don't go 30% up, but we don't go 30% down either when things go bad.
Nope. I was looking at a map the other day that had each of the states of the nation there and showing the average sales price for the entire state, per state. And I think Kentucky was like 246 or 64. Indiana was like in that 250, 260 statewide. I chuckle because Churchill Mortgage is based out of Brentwood, Tennessee, and just south of us, Tennessee's 500,000.
Well, yeah.
At Nashville, Knoxville markets.
Nashville is just blowing everything away.
Blowing everything. And I've got good folks I work with out of, Arizona was 770,000. And then I think Hawaii, the average sales price, 775,000. And I was chuckling with some of them. I said, God love us Midwestern. We're keeping the affordable housing right there.
Well, it was like used to, one of our main competitions with out-of-state investors was Texas. Because it was but Austin has kind of blown that one out of the water now.
Absolutely.
Too,
So interesting.
But, someone who deals with a lot of out-of-state people is Yvonne Woodburn. Good morning, Yvonne.
Good morning.
I know you deal with a lot of out-of-state investors. Yvonne, by the way, is a realtor at Keller Williams and also owns quite a bit of property. And you're also developing some Airbnbs, too.
Yes, we're getting ready to start those here in the next couple weeks.
How many are you looking to develop?
We're hoping to put 6 in one unit and maybe additional 2 more.
I talked to a lot of people, Yvonne, and I saw in Forbes where this is the number one Airbnb market in small markets. So why is this Airbnb market so hot?
I kind of think maybe because we have 3 hospitals here. So we have a lot of traveling medical people.
Right.
That come to the area and need something for short term. Then they don't have to worry about furniture or getting utilities on. It's just ready to go for them.
So for anybody that doesn't know how it works, everything's ready for them. I mean, furniture, everything's there. Right?
Yes, towels, dishes, starter, things they would need.
Okay.
Like trash bags, all that. You just they have a starter pack when they come.
So I've heard people say that the traveling nurses are a big part of that industry here locally because we have so many traveling nurses.
Yes, I do believe that's the most calls I get off of the traveling nurses.
And you mentioned off air about Ellis Park, and I had not thought of that, but
I hadn't either. That never even came to my mind until yesterday. I received an email from somebody that needs to stay here in Evansville
because of the racetrack.
Yes, while they're working there. Yes,
gotcha. And you said so Ellis, that Charlie and I both chuckled. Ironically, I'm sitting here with Yvonne and I'm texting my daughter, who's a travel nurse, and come to find out, Yvonne, would you say furnished find?
Yes, furnished finders are. I think most of the nurses go on there to find.
She just texted me back and said that's who I use. She's currently in Columbia, Missouri at that hospital, and she has been doing this for several years and been around the nation. So historically, she works in the NICU, neonatal intensive care unit. She takes care of premature babies, little bitty things. I don't know how she does it.
That's wonderful.
Truthfully. And I'm trying to get her back closer to this area, to Evansville. But for some reason, Missouri's probably the smallest town Columbia is compared to Seattle, Washington, and outside of L.A. and St. Louis. So she's been loving the bigger cities and so forth. But she's getting married in 2024, and her fiance's in Kansas. And it puts her really close to him, and we'll see what happens then. But I had no idea until Charlie and you shared with me that Southern Indiana, Evansville market was such number one in a small market for Airbnbs and so forth.
Well, and you think about it a little bit is Gateway Deacons here actually employs more people than Toyota.
I did not know that factor.
Toyota is just short, or it may be over 7,000 now. And Gateway was in the 7,500 range last week.
Wow.
And then you still got St. Vincent.
Yes, St. Vincent, and then Midtown also.
And Midtown. And then all of the specialty hospitals. The Peyton Manning, I think it's a pediatric center.
Okay.
MD Anderson has a cancer center here. There's several different ones like that. Yeah.
I had a fun fact that I just had a closing this past week, and one of the people there was a nurse. She's not travel. And one of the ladies who was in the closing was talking about Midtown. And the lady, ultimately they discussed that Midtown was heavily staffed with all travel personnel. And so at the closing, we were just, ironically, they were having this discussion because the lady was stating that Owensboro, Kentucky has very little travel nurse staffing there. But this other lady who takes her mom to Midtown and so forth said they're all great, but the vast majority of Midtown was travel staffed. And I had no clue of that either. So.
Now, my understanding is also, Yvonne, you might be able to shed some light on, the medical school also has a lot of travel people.
Yes, downtown. So my new Airbnb is going to be right there. I'm 4 blocks from Midtown.
That's awesome.
So, it'd be
You're 4 blocks from Midtown, and I'm in a closing where they're talking about Midtown's heavily traveled medical staff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Yvonne.
Thank you.
You picked a great location. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
What else do you do?
I sell real estate.
And she does a very good job at that, I want to tell her.
I love selling real estate. Also, I do some commercial, not as savvy as homes, but I'm in there learning. And then I have some rental property. I manage my own rental property.
How many rentals you have? I'm just curious.
I think it's around 30.
Oh, that's impressive. Congratulations.
That's
awesome.
it's a good number if you're going to manage it yourself. I mean, if you add more in, then it would be too much.
You ever work with builders?
Yes, I do. I do work with builders. I have a couple that I work with, Bauer Homes. I've worked with him a long time. And he's building some affordable homes in Chandler. We've been selling them before they're even finished. And then there's
is it out in Heim Ridge?
It's right by there. It's on Mallard. Yes.
Yeah, we bought for Reinbrechts. They bought all the lots that were left in Heim Ridge, and I think it was 18, something like that. We've been doing well. Yeah, that's a great area right there.
It is really a great area. I feel like a lot of people like that area. And the homes are,
the homes are affordable.
Yes.
Homes are affordable. Mm-hmm. They're under $250 mainly for us at least.
Yes, us too. And then there's a new builder that's coming up, Chris Brown Homes. He's going to be building in Vanderbilt County in a few subdivisions. So we're excited.
Oh, interesting. We were talking off air. This market, along with the rest of the nation, we do not have enough homes. So the builders stepping in, taking over the home sites, developing those, building the homes. It's what we need because there's too many buyers still out there looking, and we need homes. New construction, the home builders across the nation has not done a good job over the last 10 years of building enough homes nationwide. And we're continuing to feel that effects even post-COVID now. So,
Chris Combs told me the other day, and we've had Chris here on the show.
Yeah.
And his under $1 million stuff is not moving as well as his over. He's got 13 that he's building over $1 million.
It just gets into that buy. And listen, Charlie and I, we're talking about $1 million here. So what we've seen nationwide in each market, it's different when you're talking about top-end sales prices for Los Angeles versus top-end sales prices for Evansville, Indiana. It's obviously huge. But what we have seen is for our market, and I would say in our market, anything over 650,000 days on the market have grown. That buyers they have not; those aren't moving as fast as hypothetically if we're talking about 250,000 in the same market. And so it just comes down to many of those buyer profiles. They're just staying put longer where they're currently setting. Maybe that magic mark of above $1 million. And I'm not going to get into jumbo loans versus conforming loan limits, but
Chris told me because I was thinking about you, and I said, well, Chris, I said those people, you thought about, we've got some 2-1 buy down programs.
Yes.
And he said they don't use any type.
They don't use it. They're straight up what it is.
They pay cash, or they make a 6-figure down payment.
Honestly, when you said above $1 million, I kind of wondered if any of those are actually cash.
Most of them, I think.
I think so. And so, Charlie, I never know where we're going, but cash is making up nationwide right now 35% of all purchases.
It's amazing how much cash we're seeing.
It's huge.
Yvonne, are you seeing a lot of cash?
Yes. Yeah. A lot of cash.
A lot of cash has been sitting on the sideline, and it's going into being invested into real estate. And so, historically speaking, we've been seeing this past year a larger percentage of cash buyers. And we're not talking about cash on a $100,000 home. No. We're talking about cash on sizable homes where there's like, rate's high, and I'm just, because, well, we won't get too deep there. But anyway, they feel like it's a wise investment, and they're just paying cash and moving on with life.
I read, it's probably a couple of years ago, but we're seeing it change now, that there was $9 trillion sitting on the sidelines.
So it's slowly filtering in at this point in time.
But you know what? Before we go any farther, we got to pay some bills.
Oh.
Charlie Butler Radio Show is brought to you by David Crow at Churchill Mortgage. David, I know, always gives his number, but we want to make sure that, if you hear Dave Ramsey, and Dave does a great job for Churchill, but he's promoting go to Churchill and you go to the website. Well, you can look up on their map and click on Indiana or Kentucky, right?
That's correct. You will see my branch at that point representing especially the states of Kentucky and states of Indiana. And I do loans all over each of those states. For Eastern Kentucky, did have a cool situation where a lady in far Eastern Kentucky listened to Dave Ramsey, went to the Churchill Mortgage, saw my branch here, and called me. And she just moved from far Eastern Kentucky to Henderson, Kentucky. And helped her and her husband, and they love me. And same way, I do northern Indiana, in and around Indianapolis. Listeners,
so
listen.
So you doing like Pikeville and Appalachia?
Oh, yes. And over,
that's
exactly.
Boy, I've got some places I could go with this, but I better not.
In my younger years, living in Lexington and going to University of Kentucky and worked at UK hospital system, I traveled Paintsville, Pikeville, Ashland, all those cold roads and mountains and so forth. So
I mean, there is, and I know there's areas in Southern Illinois too, but there are areas I know of abject poverty over there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I used to. Well, the joke was many years ago. I'm going back into the 90s. Some of those areas they don't have a middle class. They have a very well-off class and a very poverty-stricken class in those mountains. So
the guys that own the coal mines are the rich ones, and then there's everybody else.
And there's everybody else.
Yeah.
So, no. But anyway, folks, you can click on, you'll see David Crow. My cell phone number is on there. I ask people to always call, text. It's fastest response.
Yeah.
All of us in the real estate industry, cell phones. And so 270-222-0676.
And also brought to you by the good folks at Bossy Title in Evansville. And you can go to their website, which I think is bossytitle.com. Look it up. He called and said he wanted to be mentioned this week. We didn't mention him last week, but Norm was upset he didn't get mentioned. Norm is the CFO. You know Norm, don't you, Yvonne? Have you had a call? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Norm is the CFO, Chief French Bulldog Officer. So if you go out there, Norm will come out and visit unless he's taking a nap or somebody's got food somewhere else. So anyway, it's a fun place to go, and they are very, very professional and very on top of things. So go see the folks at Bossy Title. Also, Jordan, the Diamond Council of America is wanting to sponsor us too. They heard about you and getting married, and they.
There is no getting married because I haven't proposed or anything. So unless they're going to sponsor you and throw in a ring as part of the endorsement,
there you go.
That's about the only way.
Well, back in the day, what was the name of the sponsor? Leslie Morgan had it. And she got their bed.
Sleep Number.
Sleep Number. Thank you.
Sleep Number.
Like a $3,000 bed.
Yeah, and there's another one in WBKR in Owensboro. They sponsor him as well. But they want to sponsor. If you got a diamond company want to sponsor us and they want to throw us a ring, I'll take that.
So anybody out there wanting to sponsor, Jordan will take it and he will propose with it.
I'll even make some kind of YouTube video about it and everything. Like we'll go all out for this.
So we have you on record saying you will propose if we get you a diamond.
I wasn't. You just said you were going to give me the ring.
That
wasn't part of it. That wasn't part of it. You just said you would get the ring, and then there was no after effect of what I had to do with the ring.
Well, what are you going to do with the ring
if I want to wear it? What if I want to wear the ring?
It's going to be like a solitaire. They're going to look at you kind of funny, Jordan.
It's 2024. No judgment.
Yeah,
okay? No judgment in 2024.
So if there is a local jeweler out there, and if you want to sponsor our show and throw in a small diamond ring, Jordan will propose to his girlfriend.
There we go.
Jordan.
We got to get it in contract form, but maybe sure.
Okay. So, you sound like you're really committed.
I am committed.
Remember, Jordan, we go worldwide here.
Absolutely. No, I am committed. I just hate having the government involved in a relationship. So that's really the issue.
Okay.
That's his driving factor.
Yeah, I don't want the government involved in my relationships anymore. I've already been burned once.
You're not one of those survivalist type, are you, that just want to live off the grid or something?
Homie, I can barely change a light bulb. You think I can live off the grid? I can't grow a tomato plant. You think I can live off the grid?
Well, Yvonne can rent you an Airbnb. Everything's there, Jordan.
Everything you need.
Yeah, and then I got to pay the Airbnb costs.
Yvonne will have somebody come change your light bulbs, even won't you, Yvonne?
Yes.
Back at the ranch, you guys actually made me think of a question that I'd like to ask Yvonne. And I know,
can't imagine what that is from that.
My brain's actually on real estate.
I know she's pretty, but you're married. Remember that, okay?
Exactly. No, Yvonne, seriously, about real estate, okay? So you mentioned you manage 30 real estate units, homes, apartments, something like that. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And folks, I'm catching her off guard. I'm just curious, since 2020 with those rentals, did you increase the rents on those each month? Or as possibly as the new tenants moved in?
Yes.
So you've seen an increase in rents over the last...
I have.
I'm sure you have.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And it seemed like it was just raising up so quick. You can't even, you have long-term tenants, you can't throw that big increase on them. So I'm just kind of gradually raising them up.
Because especially with turnover, I assume, or vacant. If somebody moves out.
Then those I'm adjusting to appropriate amount.
That's the reason I set you up that question. Folks, I didn't know the answer, but I'm just going to say I knew the answer, which is why people need to buy a home. Okay, get a interest rate, fix in that housing cost. Rents are going to continue to go up. Again, there's certain pockets because of the numbers I've monitored across the nation where rents have either stabilized or new rents are coming in just a few dollars less. But again, it's where they pushed up so high. But nationwide, rents are up and they're going to continue to go up because of lack of housing, lack of supply.
Yeah, and lack of rentals. I mean, they're building more, but it seems like we still need more.
Oh, yeah. You do in this market. And I'm guilty of it sometimes because of the lending guidelines imposed on lenders. Many times I can't fully qualify them for a mortgage payment they want because of how their income is coming in or sporadic and so forth. And again, it's to protect the buyer, protect the consumer, but they're paying more in rent than I can approve them on a mortgage payment. And they're making their rent payments, which is kind of crazy at times. So some people are, they've been held in that situation. I help guide them what needs to be done, but rents are going up, and they're going to continue to go up. I too own rental investment property, and yes, it's amazing where I was renting in like 2018 and where that same home has gone to in the last couple of years, and immediately rents right out, and so
Yeah,
I don't have
big
near the number
changes.
you do.
Big
I'm
changes.
jealous.
So
So Yvonne, are you? I don't know if you do any Section 8 or not.
I do.
But I've been hearing some of the people, the prices that Section 8, the rent Section 8's paying is just, and from having them in past years, it's double.
It has. Actually,
Somebody told me $1,200 for a 2-bedroom now.
that sounds about right. I think I'm getting, for a 1-bedroom, everything included, I'm getting like a little over $1,000
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done the everything.
for a 1-bedroom with utilities included. And I know these utilities, they're up some too, but it still pans out to
Yeah.
be good for them, for the tenant, and then that you can supply that for them if they can't get it. But
I've rolled the dice on that one a couple of times with the utilities included with Section 8, and they pay a lot more. As long as you don't have a real hard winter,
You're okay.
You're in good shape. That's the only thing. I know we're running out of time, but a quick story. I owned a duplex up on Elliott, and I've got a client in from Washington State who's looking for property, and we drive by. I own that over there, and it's like 10 degrees outside. It is freezing. It had a front door and a side door. Both doors were open.
10 degrees.
10 degrees. So Alan Tidwell, who who we both know, Alan was managing for me, and I call Alan. I tell him, I said, Alan, this is all I'm paying utilities here. All the utilities included. They got both doors open. It's 10 degrees, and they said, and so Alan goes over there, and they said, well, Alan, we had to. Said we had that furnace up to 80, and it got hot in here, so we opened up to get some air in here.
That's your problem with paying all the utilities.
Yeah,
That
that would be a problem.
Yes.
That's a problem, right?
Interesting.
Right. So, Yvonne, what are some of your future plans? I know we've talked, and Yvonne and I are friends off the air, so we know each other. We work together. You've had some plans you're talking about maybe doing with your Airbnbs.
Yes. So I was going to just have 6 there and do maybe a lounge, but I've kind of rethought that, and I think I'm just going to add a couple more Airbnbs and a loungy area where just for my people that come there to stay, that they can hang out, and then add a swim spa outside for them.
Oh, neat.
Wow.
Yeah, if we have the swim spa, it's good in the summer, and then they can also use it in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So
Maybe add a laundry even?
yes, have some laundry for them and some vending machines in case they don't want to leave the building. And
I know every landlord out there, remember, you turn all those coins in as taxable income.
yes, I definitely will do that.
But Yvonne, whether it be selling real estate or they're looking for rentals or looking for Airbnbs, what's the best number to get a hold of you at?
It would be 812-204-1147.
Okay. You're like Candace. Candace always struggles with her number too.
Yep.
I could see that. But yeah, call Yvonne Woodburn. I can tell you firsthand, she does a great job selling real estate. And then I know she's very passionate about these Airbnbs. But on the real estate side, there's nobody better, and she'll do a super job for you.
Thank you.
And Yvonne, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
David, one more time, how can they get a hold of you?
Folks, give me a call. Listen to us on podcast and so forth. 270-222-0676.
Now, whether you're wanting to sell your home, which if we can't sell your home, we'll buy it. We'll give you an instant cash offer. Or if you want to sponsor the show, any jewelry stores out there that are providing diamonds, Jordan is ready to get hitched now. So anyway, for your real estate needs, call the Charlie Butler team, 430-812-430-1708, or my cell at 812-499-7758. For Yvonne Woodburn, David Crow, Jordan Rose, this is Charlie Butler. Have a great Sunday.
You've got real estate questions but don't know where to get the answers? Tune in here every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. as Charlie Butler, Evansville's own real estate expert, shares the latest news, info, and insider tips to help you make smart real estate decisions. Find him online at charliebutlerteam.com. This program has been paid for by the Charlie Butler team. From the Kate Foppel Ford Studios, this is Newstalk 1280 WGBF.